Hello there people, this is Bruce Be Cool or nintenbruce here, and I'm going to chat to you about a very nice little game that is going to come out soon, almost just snuck in under the radar, and that is Yu-Gi-Oh! Millennium Duels. Now, for those of you that have played Decade Duels Plus since forever, including Decade Duels, this is definitely going to pique your interest if it hasn't already. As far as I can tell, it's going to be a replacement game to Decade Duels Plus, and it's definitely going to come out on the Xbox 360 arcade. Is it going to come out on PS3, the Play Store I believe it's called, unless that's Android I'm thinking of, whatever, but is it going to come out on PS3? There's no word yet, unfortunately, let alone whether it's going to appear on Xbox One and PS4. But at least for those of us with a 360 for now, this is going to be a lovely little game. Hopefully it's going to be around the 800 Microsoft points mark, maybe even 1200, we'll have to see, nothing's confirmed, but it is going to be an up-to-date game and essentially kill Decade Duels Plus. Now in terms of this sneaking under the radar, it was only alerted on the, I believe it was 6th of March, on the True Achievements website, which I'll link in the description below. And apparently has a penciled release date for 24th of March, which is extremely soon, especially for a game that's, you know, had no publicity or anything. And I'm guessing this leak is good publicity for the developers, because otherwise it's just going to come out and no one's even going to know about it in essence. So what does this have over Decade Duels Plus that we can confirm? Straight off the bat, it's got 6,004 cards, I believe it was. So far that's minimum from one of the photo shots, but you can see in this photo that it's 3 out of 3 cards in, well, the rows that you can see there. So I'm going to assume 6,004 cards, and hopefully it's going to have updates to keep the roster up to date, etc, etc. Which does bring me to a few issues that they need to address from Decade Duels Plus, which hopefully they'll put into the new game. But tell you what, let's backtrack a little bit. It seems that it's got more storyline as well, so we'll talk a bit more about the game first. It seems that you can go through the different eras of Yu-Gi-Oh! So that would be, or era rather, era is something that's not supposed to happen. So you've got the old school Yu-Gi-Oh! Characters, then the GX, then the, not Decade Duels, the, whatever the Synchro Age is, the car games on motorcycles, and the new Zixel range, or Zexel, whatever, I haven't watched that episode. It'll be quite interesting to see what they incorporate in this storyline, and whether you actually have to be a character, or whether you can create your own deck. We'll soon see. Again, there's no information, so I don't want to confirm anything. It'll be quite interesting playing as a character, but they have to include the feature of using your own deck up against these characters as well. They just have to. Otherwise that would be a bit silly really. Who have you got to practice against, you know? So that does actually look quite interesting, definitely. The single player was not the best of experiences on Decade Duels Plus, especially the way of how you earned cards, where it was only through single player. And hopefully that is something they'll address in the new game. For those of you that haven't played Decade Duels Plus, literally you got a random card, or up to 15 random cards, possible duplicates as well, which you're really unlucky about if you did get. Out of 3,000 and whatever it was, so there was less than 1%, even less than 0.1% to gain the card that you need. It was literally all random unless you bought booster packs, and even then, why would you want to spend more than the game was actually worth? So fingers crossed they've got that sorted out, and whether they go back to the old ways on the Game Boy Advance, from what I remember, where you gained points and you purchased particular packs, so it was still a case of luck, but you narrowed it down to the sets that you needed to do, or that you wanted to concentrate on for a particular deck. We'll see, guys, we'll see if they address this at all. Otherwise, oh my days, I'm not sure if I want to pick this up. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. It's definitely going to have multiplayer again. You know, what Yu-Gi-Oh! Game is complete without multiplayer? Things that I'm hoping for this round is, I'd say more penalties for rage quitters, because as it currently stands with Decade Duels Plus, when someone rage quits, no one gains a win, no one gains a loss, and it was stupid because even if you completed a game and took a win or a loss, you got more points than the disconnection, and people just didn't seem to understand that, or were just too childish about it. So I'm going to hope there's, at the very least, going to be a win counted for the people that stay in the duel, as opposed to a penalty being slapped on and the winners just you know, try and find a game to build up achievements, etc, etc. In the day, we all like wins, don't we? And it's nice to have that total. Which brings me to the second half of that. Definitely not as important, but I think they do need to do a bit more with the leaderboard this time round compared to Decade Duels Plus, which was a case of, as I've touched on earlier, even if you lost, you gained points. So it was just a case of how long can you play Yu-Gi-Oh for? Oh, you've played for, you know, 3 years straight. Well done, you're first place. You know, just like that. So that's a bit of a weird, and no one was really interested in those leaderboards at the time. We'll see what they bring out in this new game, and then. Well, this is only a side note. Well, actually, it's something that they're going to have to do. Otherwise, again, it'll be a bit pants. But they're going to have to work on the glitches as well in terms of updating them. As it stands with how the arcade versions, including the PS3 versions of Decade Duels Plus was, or is, you get a glitch and then there's no update for years. I'm not even joking, literally years. When it went from Xbox 360 Decade Duels to Xbox 360 Decade Duels Plus, that took about 3 years? I think it might have been 3 years, you know. Depends when I started up YouTube, I guess, so 2 or 3 years ago. And yeah, then the update came and then it sorted out some things, but then it came with a new slew of glitches, which, with this new game coming out, Decade Duels Plus definitely is not going to receive the updates it needs to fix those glitches. So hopefully they'll be really on the ball with this, especially with nearly every card in the game so far. The developers of this can make this a really good game, an essential purchase. If they address those points that I've mentioned, then this is a winner and would have a huge lifespan. Huge lifespan. This game doesn't need any shiny graphics, which, you know, some people would prefer and whatnot. It just needs solid gameplay, a solid way of gaining cards, and solid multiplayer action. That's all you really need. And although I touched on the single player component of it, you know, that's minor compared to the multiplayer experience, and that's what obviously Yu-Gi-Oh is about, really, just getting out there, showing what you got and going from there. And obviously they've got to update the ban list. I can't forget that. So, what do you guys think about this? I'm definitely quite excited for it. If it comes out at 800, even pushing 1200 Microsoft points, I'd be inclined to get it if they sort out these issues. So let us know your thoughts and comment on anything else that I might have missed that you've seen or heard about as well. Again, I'll link the True Achievements news article on it so you guys can have a little gander and even look at the points that I've kind of reiterated as well, because I've posted on there and I'm part of the True Achievements crew myself. So yeah, definitely give that a little look-see. And until next time, guys, you take care and I will see you again soon.